Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Quinn O'Donnell. She has just shared a brand new single titled Birthday Cake Lighter, and I'm super excited to talk to her all about it. Quinn, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your life to come on and do this. What is up?
Absolutely.
How are you? What is news?
I'm good. Just here in East Nashville on a very cold day. But I'm doing good. Happy to take
Cool.
time to do this today. How are you?
I'm great. Is East Nashville the place to be, or is it like, north or west or south better?
I would say the East Side. I think I've always been really partial to this side of town.
Okay.
I think a lot of people who tourists here and whatnot, they also really like this part of town. It's considered the like hip part.
Ah, I see. I have not been, so I need to go.
Yeah, well, now you have to go. You know
There
where
we
to go.
go.
The east
I
side.
gotta go
East
to
side's
East.
the
There we
fun part.
go. Okay, perfect. Enough
Mhm.
about your geography. Let's talk about music. You have this new song, and it's fantastic. Like I said before I hit the record button, I've been listening all day, and it's really just been a fantastic listen. Um, the first thing I really want to know about is what is it about? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, well, essentially, I wrote the song about 2 years ago,
Oh,
and it's sort of a love letter to my friends and just like those nice like summer nights with friends. I wrote it the last day of my first tour, while we were in
awesome.
New Orleans, which was really fun, and we were just kind of running around. The title actually comes from the fact that I did not know how to use a lighter until I was in college. So I had this giant
How?
birthday cake lighter. I don't know. It's like
Like,
I also just learned how to use the can opener like maybe
oh,
less than a year ago. I think that's the
that's
the Brentwood girl in me speaking. Just I don't know why. I just never came across it. It just didn't
that's
happen.
okay. I won't push you on that. The lighter thing I think is more shocking, but go on.
Thank you.
Please go on.
Yeah. I mean, it's no, it's hilarious. Like I didn't know until I and basically until I moved out of my house. And my friends would be like, "Hey, do you wanna hang out and like smoke cigarettes and
Yeah,
hang
yeah,
out and
yeah.
whatnot?"
Yeah,
And
that's what cool kids do. So,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So I had a birthday cake lighter about this big. It was hot pink from Publix, that I would
Obviously.
carry with me everywhere. And you can see in like old college pictures, it's about this big and it's like sticking out of my pocket. You can just see that
Okay.
but yeah, it's the song is sort of an ode to those nights that I'd hang out with friends, specifically the summer and trickling into the fall, late nights staying up till 2 a.m. just running around doing
Yeah.
hooligan things and
Very cool.
creating
So it's
chaos.
obviously meaningful and there's, good message behind it. That's always
Oh, for
nice.
sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, one thing I also wanted to talk about was like the genre influence.
Yeah.
Obviously, the song, I feel like it's like an umbrella. Like pop, I would say, is at the top. Like it's a generally poppy song, but it's also pretty atmospheric, like in the instrumentation. It's not like your mainstreamy hyper pop like dance around song.
Yeah.
What was your thought process behind the actual like tone of it all?
Well, my producer and I had kind of talked a lot about specifically this really, really great indie band called Real Estate, that
Huge
we've both
real
been.
estate fan.
I am too. I love their sort of dreamy indie
Yeah,
rock vibe. It was an English teacher actually showed me that band, and I've been a fan ever
that's
since.
amazing. Wow, best
Yeah,
teacher
really
ever.
random. But I have just always really loved their tone and their sort of vibe. I wanted to incorporate sort of that same indie rock kind of sound, especially in the first half of this upcoming record.
Yeah,
Birthday Cake Lighter is going to be the opening song on the record.
very cool.
So it's also the only like really happy sort of tone in the record. It's a pretty sad record, so I wanted to have something really contrasting to the rest of the material being really depressing.
Nice.
So,
It's really funny that you say that. I subconsciously, like, I listen to real estate all the time, and it definitely went through my mind when you said that. I was like, oh,
oh,
yeah,
glad.
that's the obvious compare. No, no, well, that's the tough part with like making music and influences is like
Mhm.
making something new nowadays is close to impossible. Everyone's pulling from someone else. but
Yeah,
in the sense that it's not, you know, ripping them off, rather just like, yeah, I like them and this is my ode to them, but also me. So
absolutely. For
congrats
sure.
to you on that.
Well, thank you.
Now on the production side of things, I assume, you know, you just said you were working with someone, so it wasn't all you.
Mhm.
I want to know who was involved, like in the process of making it.
Yes, well, I have a band called The Lonely Hearts. They're my five best friends. They're
Awesome.
amazing and fantastic. My drummer, Carl, is also my producer.
Cool.
So he is on all sides of things. Because this song wasn't originally going to be released. I just kind of had it in my back pocket from
Oh,
2019. And I was hanging out with Carl and was like, hey, this is a song I wrote. I think we were just hanging out, playing songs for each other that we'd written. And he was
sure.
like, this is really good. I would love to help you with this. Like, let's do a project together. And he kind of twisted my arm into doing it.
Sure.
And just super supportive and sweet. And is just a great friend, great to work with, and just really knows what he's doing. So he did production. Another one of my really close friends, Connor Gilmore, who plays bass for a couple bands, he did the mastering. My really, really amazing bassist, Cordell Bay, did bass for this song as well and just did a fantastic job. Uh, the song, like I said, was written in 2019, but was finalized with like
Hmm.
final lyrics in 2020, just out of boredom.
Sure,
And then
sure.
that was when that sort of came into play with showing Carl that song.
Very
Um,
cool.
and him sort of, uh, convincing me to be a part of this and to do something together. So, yeah.
Nice.
Hmm.
Well, they definitely complimented your sound.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'm only going
And
to ask you this because you brought it up, and you don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but you did mention an album coming. I don't know
yeah,
if you want to keep it on the
happy.
down low. I don't know if you want to keep it a mystery, but I do want to ask in the sense of like musical experimentation. Obviously,
Mhm.
I love this song. I love the tone of it, but are you going to be looking to change things up on the rest of the record, like lyrically or just like sonically or anything really?
Yes, actually. What Carl and I think is really funny about this record, it's very pretentiously titled "Wherefore Art Thou."
Love
um,
it.
Thank you. Um,
Actually,
I'm
nothing
really,
pretentious
really
about that. I don't think.
I don't
Maybe.
know. I don't know. I thought it was kind of pretentious. I was like,
Yeah,
this is
whatever.
snobby as hell. But I'm still really excited about it.
Awesome.
The first couple releases, I released two singles so far, Birthday Cake Lighter and one other one I had released in September. It's funny, these two songs are very uplifting, kind of dancey, indie rock kind of stuff. But the rest of this record has a very melancholy tone to
Okay.
it, kind of paralleling a lot of like Radiohead, Death Cab for Cutie, The Cranberries, sort of that
Nice.
late 90s trickling into the early 2000s kind of feel,
Okay.
lyrically and melodically. And we kind of just thought that was very random. Like, how are these two songs gonna like fit into everything else? And then just kind of realizing that a lot of my songs have this sort of sarcasm to them as well, especially the first single about last summer. That just it really kind of falls into place as you go through the record of when it's released. Kind of this first couple songs are very like happy-go-lucky. It slowly gets to be a little more truthful, and then finally, kind of a crashing and burning of like, oh my god, I'm so sad. um,
Okay. Well, I kind
Kind of
of,
thing.
not to interrupt you, I love that you actually put that into thought. I think there's so many artists out there that are just like, okay, I have 10 songs
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna put them on an album and see what happens. But there's
Yeah.
so much more like that actually emotionally can hit someone when you listen to an album and it's like, yeah, I methodically put this first and this last and then everything in the middle
Hmm.
because that's how music should be. It shouldn't just be like a smattering of songs together.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And I'm one of those people that listens to albums all the way through
yeah.
and will just like stare at my ceiling, just like fully wanting to like
Yes.
hear all of the bits and pieces, and just I
Yes.
love it.
That's how I
I love
spend
it.
most of my days. It is not a
Me
bad way
too.
to spend my days. So,
It's so fun though.
it's
And
pretty
it's I
great.
feel like for most artists, at least I hope it's intentional with albums, like wanting
Yeah.
certain songs to be in a certain order. I I love it, and I like
Yeah,
to take that thought into account when making my own stuff.
I agree. And I will say, I feel like the album experience is sort of losing a little bit. Like,
I
obviously, with the streaming industry nowadays, it's all like, hey guys, check out my new single, or I have a 4-song EP coming out. And it's just like, okay, let's structure these short little releases to like keep up with the content and the social media. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, like, I don't know, it's tough because like 99% of music listeners don't really give a shit. They're just like, yeah, give me the
Oh,
music. Give me all the
very,
music.
very
And
true.
they don't want to take the time and actually, like turn their phone off and be like, okay, I'm starting this album and then I'm gonna evaluate from start to
Also, a
finish.
lot of people don't have time. They just don't have time to do that either, and it's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
it's sad, but it's true. And
Yeah.
I mean, everybody kind of does things in their own way, but I totally agree. I'm like
Yeah.
sad that that's sort of waning away. I like to do it anyway, just because it's, I'm an independent artist. I'm not signed to a
I
label. I'm not
agree.
trying to please anybody other than
And
myself.
yeah, the
So
people that get it are
anyway,
gonna love you that much more for it.
oh,
So
I hope so. I try
keep
to
it up.
be myself.
There you go. Now,
Yeah.
how long have you been making music for?
Oh my God, as long as I can remember. Both
Good.
of my folks, my parents were in the industry as well. So
Cool.
I've grown up around it my whole life. I have been singing since I first began to talk. I would sing
Nice.
myself awake in the morning.
Yes.
Out of, just like my parents would be asleep in the other room. They said they would hear me wake up, just like they'd hear me start singing. They're like, "Oh, she's up. go, go get
Sure.
me," or whatever. I think I've always sung. I don't think I really realized I wanted to do it as a career until maybe high school, really. I
Okay.
kind of tried different types of music. Like in elementary school, there was definitely a time I really wanted to be a music producer, and I
Hmm.
like dove into Garage Band and Pro Tools.
Nice.
Then I was like, no, I really like being on stage. I would rather be
Sure.
performing more. And then my dad was a bassist. So in middle school, I became obsessed with Sting, and
Yep.
my dad would give me bass lessons,
Very
and I
cool.
wanted to be like this amazing bassist. And then again, just kind of realized I liked singing more, and I was like, wait, I just really love the feeling it gives me. It gives me a sense of closeness too, because
Hmm.
I learned how to sing from my mom
Okay.
and my mom's mom as well. We all would sing together, and that was how I learned really how to sing and how to memorize songs, was singing with them. So it almost like gives me a sense of closeness, not like subconsciously, not to say that
Sure,
I'm trying
sure.
to say every time I'm singing I'm like being close to them, but
No, I
it's sort
completely
of an
understand what you're
internal
saying.
feeling. It brings me a very nostalgic, I guess, just like joy that I really love. So
Sure.
yeah, but I've been singing ever since.
There you go. And so
Yeah.
what was that moment for you where you were like, okay, I casually like doing this. I maybe even love it. I want to start making music for myself. Like the moment you were like, I want to take this to the next level. And it may not even have been a moment, maybe just like a series of small things.
I would describe it as that, actually, as sort of
Yeah.
a series of moments. Because I've been writing probably since I was maybe early middle school.
Oh,
And
wow.
when you're in middle school and you have your first really tragic breakup,
Oh,
and I was devastated.
still
And
think about it to this day.
absolutely, I'm
Yeah. How
traumatized.
do they? I'm 11 years old. You're gonna break up with me?
Exactly.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
no, I'm such a catch with my glasses and braces
There
and
you
lip.
go.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I was just like really tragically sad. I remember writing so much music though, and singing. I remember finishing it though and being like extremely proud of myself for some subconscious reason. Like, oh my gosh, I think I just like made something out of
Right.
sadness. And I was so like impressed with myself and proud of myself that I found this new way of coping with things that I showed my dad, and he was like, "Wow,
Awesome.
this is good, Quinn. Like, good job." I was like, I think I want to make an EP out of this. And so when I was 15 years old, I released my first EP called Mad Crazy Dreams,
Cool.
named after the pillow I would write next to, which had a saying on it that said Mad Crazy Dreams. And
Love it.
um And it was definitely a gratifying moment once I hit, send on TuneCore. Like, oh my gosh, I
Right.
made this thing. I, sang, I played guitar, and it's out in the world. And I just feel like I, just like created something really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that feeling's almost addicting in the
Oh,
sense that
I'm
I like
sure
just
of it.
continuing to make things and to put them out. And I've just found that writing's been really therapeutic, and that I've
Yeah.
gotten better at it over time, and I want to keep doing it for as long as I can.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so now that you've actually, you've been through this process multiple times from the thinking of songs to the writing, recording, and getting a team together, and then ultimately like clicking the submit button, is there something from all the way at the start to all the way at the end that you look forward to the most in the process?
Oh, absolutely. All of it. All of it's so
Yeah.
fun. There is something so gratifying about finding that lyric or that word, that really sticks with you when you're in the initial writing process, when you're in a co-write and you come up with something and you both go, oh, and it's like that instant light
Yeah.
bulb goes off. Also production. It's great doing a take, and I sing a line, and afterwards Carl and I just go, that was great. Like, that was perfect.
Yeah.
There's also something about that and sort of that amazing community feeling you have with your band when you're on stage, and just after doing a show, we all just turn at each other and we're like,
Yo, we
just
did
smiling
it.
so big. Whereas,
Right.
my band, they're all so sweet, and we're all just like, I love you guys. This was
That's
great.
awesome.
It's
Hopefully it
sweet.
stays like that because you know how bands get.
Oh,
But,
absolutely. I
but
mean, they're so sweet. They're just a bunch of sweet nerds.
that's awesome.
So am I. So we're,
There you go.
been
And
together for a while.
and you mentioned also that you had just gotten home from a performance tonight, which again,
Yes.
amazing. But is there anything that you'd like to plug that's coming up in the future as far as performances go? I know the year is kind of closing out at the moment,
It
so I
is
don't know what's
closing
going
out.
on, but anything for early 2022?
Early 2022, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're kind of sort of taking a little hiatus from playing at the moment, just
Cool.
because we've been playing a show like every week,
Damn, okay.
and my band is tired, and
Yep.
so am I. And also, for the sake of this record, it's like, would I rather do a bunch of small, okay shows, or would I rather do one really big, really cool show
I mean,
that
whatever
like
gets the
blows
people
everybody's
talking.
brains?
Yeah.
I'm working on some things.
Okay.
I'm still arranging things. I'm gonna make a couple appearances, maybe supporting a couple friends
Nice.
in early 2020. At the moment, I have some plans. I
Cool.
can't say anything
That's
yet.
okay. No, no, no. Totally cool.
Yeah,
Cool. All right, I've got a couple more questions for you
sure.
at this point.
Happy to answer.
Now, because we are a music blog and we're always trying to put people onto what they should be listening to, are there any local artists or bands that you'd like to shout out, or even, what just like stood out on your playlist this year that you haven't been able to turn off?
Yeah, I mean, this year, off the top of my head, I mean, how could I not say Death Cab for Cutie? I'm a
Sure.
diehard Death Cab for Cutie fan.
Okay.
They're amazing.
Right.
All of their records are great. I specifically really love Narrow Stairs is my
Okay.
favorite record. Just start to finish, it's a great record. Has my favorite song Calf on there as well.
Nice.
Local bands, there are several I really love. My favorite local Nashville band is this amazing friend of mine named Nordista Freeze.
Nordista Freeze?
Yes,
Cool ass name.
he's
Yeah,
great. He's
wow.
a hoot. He does a big show every year in Nashville called Space Prom, where it's an 80s themed prom where he sings 80s covers the entire night. This year, it's gotten so big. This is the fourth year they've done it in town. They sold out Cannery Ballroom, and it was
Wow.
sponsored by Lightning 100. And the first year I went 4 years ago, it was in the back of a Chinese bistro.
Get out of here.
Yeah. The
Wow.
Nashville DIY scene is a weird place, but
That's okay. If that's ever my reason for coming to Nashville, then I
yeah,
could time it
you
around
gotta go
there.
to Space Prom. Space
Boom.
Prom, and he's just a great musician with a heart of
Hmm.
gold. Does this amazing Beach Boys 60s sort of harmonic rock thing that
Very
just, oh
cool.
my gosh, it's contagious. I don't think I ever stopped smiling at the end of any of his shows. Like he just
Awesome.
has such a great heart. He's amazing.
I will check it out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure. No
All
problem.
right, Quinn, I have one more question for you.
Sure thing.
And the question is basically for the person that is going to discover you from this, for the person that is going to listen to your music for the first time, what is an opening message that you'd like to say to them?
It's a good question. Hi, welcome. Welcome to the Moldy Espresso Quinn O'Donnell community. Um, you're loved. I see you. You don't have to be lonely anymore. Um, I get it. I totally get it. That's what I would say.
Boom. You've convinced
Yeah.
me. I'm hooked.
Okay.
There we
Thanks.
go. Quinn, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I'm glad that we can make this
Yeah,
work. But I'm
absolutely.
also going to plug your song for you one more time. It is called Birthday Cake Lighter. It is awesome.
Thank you.
Stream it, play it, send it to your friends. Go to Space Prom.
Go to Space
Go to
Prom.
Space Prom.
It just happened, so you'll have to wait till next year. But go to Space
That's
Prom.
okay. I can wait. Um, but yeah, no, seriously, thank you so much. This has been great. I can't wait to hear the record and see what else you're up to. And yeah, thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you
We
so
will
much for
definitely
having
be
me.
speaking soon. You're very welcome. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank
Bye
you very
bye.
much. Bye. Thank you.